started with reading from the Bhagavad Gita, 2 verses each. So we will just dilly-dally between you and we'll ping pong between you and I. Really matter 2 verses till somebody else joins us. And we are broadcasting, we are recording. We'll just get started with a short prayer to the spiritual master.
It's a little bit cutting your this thing, Mataji.
Yes. Sorry about that. I'll bring it to the middle here.
Varshana Mataji is here.
You also joining us? Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we will read. Then between the two of you, you can read. So I have Vindhyavali Mataji, and then Varshana. Okay. All right.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Chalakaya Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah.
Okay, welcome all. Vindhyavali Mataji, Varshana Mataji.
Aruniram Mataji is there.
And Aruni Mataji, are you in a position to read? Okay. In the interest of time, we'll get going. When she joins us, when she's in a position to talk, we'll check with her. Okay? So Vindhyavali Mataji, please go ahead.
I didn't have the screen, Mataji.
You don't have the screen. That's a good point. And all right, screen coming up. Please get started.
Chapter 12. Hare Krishna, Chapter 12, Devotional Service. Text 1. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Hare Krishna, Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable. All-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable. The impersonal conception of the absolute truth. By controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Hare Krishna. Text 5. For those whose minds are attached to unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Hare Krishna. Aruni Mataji.
Hare Krishna, I can see the person talking, but somehow I can't see the rest. I can't see the text. The screen is blank. It's black.
I don't know why. For some reason, we can't see you either.
Yeah, we can't see you either.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Let me leave and then join again. So just go on and then I will leave and join again.
Okay. Mataji, can you scroll a little bit more, Mataji?
6 and 7 and 8.
Yeah. Text 6 and 7. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Text 8. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Hare Krishna, Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, text 9. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Text 10. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to you will come to the perfect stage. Hare Krishna. Aruni Mataji, are you in a position to read? Okay, Vindhyavali Mataji, you can
Okay.
continue.
Text 11. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Text 12. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Hare Krishna, Varshana Mataji.
Yes,
I can
thank you,
see now
Mataji.
if you want me to read.
Yes, yes, Mataji, 13, 14.
Okay. Text 13 to 14. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always self-satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Text 15. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. Vindhyavali Mataji.
Text 16. My devotee who is not dependent
17.
on the ordinary 15. Hare
Oh, no,
Krishna, I'm
16,
sorry.
16. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
Text 16. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result is very dear to me. Text 17. One who neither rejects nor grieves, with neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. Hare Krishna, Varshana Mataji. Varshana Mataji. She's not muted, but
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes. Aruni Mataji, you can continue because you didn't get a chance to read 18,
Okay.
19, and 20.
Text 18 and 19. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Text 20. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading. And I really wanted to appreciate Varshana Mataji's gesture of having Aruni Mataji read. And this actually shows how this shows progress in devotional service, period. And like I was talking to you about it yesterday, that there is Kanishta and there is Madhyam. So this is a feature of a Madhyam that a Madhyam a Kanishta only thinks of Krishna and himself. So there's a relationship between the devotee and Krishna, and that's it. They don't see others. But as you evolve and go higher, then you start thinking about Krishna's devotees. And actually, at some point, you first put the devotees and then you put Krishna over there, like that. So I really appreciate that gesture, because we all have a desire to read Krishna Katha, but to able to give it to somebody is the biggest austerity, and you did that. You did that in Govardhan
Thank
during
you
the
so much,
Kartik
Mataji.
Mass, so
Thank
it
you so,
becomes
so much.
exemplified so much. And so I wanted to bring that.
Thank you.
One more thing before we go into chapter 9, and because it's Govardhan Puja, so I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention. And this is a little piece that my husband actually sent me. So when we talk about Govardhan, right? In the Govardhan Leela, we had Krishna who lifted Govardhan, the entire Govardhan hill, and it's a very tall hill. It's very, very tall, and uh, but he did it. And how old was Krishna at that time?
7 years, Mata
Yeah,
Devi.
he was 7 years old, right? He was 7 years old, and this 7-year-old boy, he lifted the Govardhan hill on his pinky finger, right? So this is how he did. With just on his pinky finger, he's holding up the whole Govardhan. So this is his valor, right? This is his power. He's showing this, that just on this I can lift it, right? But the same Krishna, the same Krishna uses both his hands to hold the flute, right? And that is love. That's the difference between valor and love. See, so Krishna gives everything. He will give his whole self to the devotee because there is a love between the devotee and Krishna. So love is very, very strong. And it starts with learning how to love your devotees who are around you. Right? Once if we don't learn how to love our devotees, we cannot learn how to love Krishna like that. So
Yes.
I'm very happy
Uh,
to see also how over a period of time, like since March, that we started getting together and reading this, that you're all bonding so very nicely, and people
yes.
on the Facebook also. And so this also shows,
Mhm.
when people cooperate and work nicely together, that also shows progress in devotional service. Otherwise, the thing is that, I say it, I chant, I read, I this and that. How do I know I'm progressing devotional service? Like yesterday, I was again telling you that developing good qualities is a sign of progress in devotional service. Right? Yes, yes, the bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarve guna satya samasate suraha hara abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. What is the good qualities in a abhakta, in a devotee, in a non-devotee? There are no good qualities at all, like that, right? So keep
Uh,
up the good work.
mm,
Keep up the good
mm,
work. Take care of each other. Be there for each other, and be cognizant
but
and helpful.
Madhuri, another Leela also reminds me of you see, when Mother Yashoda is trying to tie him up, and he is no, when she is running behind him to hit him when he stole the butter, and he's trying to hide himself with his hands on his face. So I was just thinking that a child who is scared of the mother can pick up the Govardhan hill on his pinky finger.
Yeah, yeah. And Kunti Maharani marvels on that. Kunti Maharani says, Vaktram Niniya, right? So, yeah, that when fear personified himself is scared of Krishna,
Fearful.
and that same Krishna is now running away, scared of his mother. So, yeah, and they enjoy and they relish these pastimes as they describe that. Yeah, thank you for bringing that to attention. And then the same, and about surrender to the devotee. Surrender to the devotee is that Krishna, uh, you see, Yashoda is trying so hard to tie him with the ropes, and she tries hundreds of ropes, and she is not able to. But then in the end, Krishna allows her to bind him, and that is, Krishna allows it. And but why does he allow it? Because he gets so overcome with love. So love is very, very powerful. The flute makes Krishna hold him with hold her or him with good.
And then he puts very innocent face to Yashoda, that the two ropes he holds like this and he ties it. That is all those things when we chant Mataji. If you think all those features that Krishna's needs, it helps a lot for concentration and for
Exactly, and that is why we have leelas. Why people ask questions like, what's the big deal of holding the Govardhan hill in your hand?
yeah.
Yes, it is a big deal because you will remember these Govardhan leelas, and through this you will understand. So in the previous verse in 12.8, we have Krishna says, "Mayeva man adhatsva, may
Yeah,
buddhi nivesha." Think about me. So how can you think about somebody unless you know these
yeah.
fantastic things? And if the things about a person are not fantastic, then you won't recall them. So to
That,
recall and to think about it again and again, and we see that in the end of Bhagavad Gita where Sanjay says muhur muhur. Muhur means again and again. So he's doing that again and again. He just, and what is he recalling? He's just recalling that conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, which doesn't have any
yeah,
flavors of a lila in it. So lila is even at a higher level of relish that you can relish there. So yes, yeah, these are the things that if we saturate your mind with these kinds of activities during the day, then they will come back to you in the night in your dreams, and they will always come. They'll also come to you during your chanting, right? So which is a good thing.
Mataji, another thing which came to my mind, comes to my mind, I read it somewhere, maybe on WhatsApp or somewhere, but I haven't read it in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. Mataji, Srimati Radharani, when Lord Krishna went to him to see her, not to see her, but she called him because she was very eager to see him when he went to Mathura, and after that he did not come back. And then she requests him to play the flute for me, and he plays, and then he merges into the flute. Is it true? Is it correct? Or how is it? I haven't read it anywhere in the Shastras.
I haven't read it
Mother,
either. Sorry, I was in mute. Yeah, I haven't read it either. Yeah, so I didn't
same.
read it in the Bhagavatam or yeah.
Yes, yes.
But that flute music and sound, Mataji, takes somewhere. That's all. Whenever I listen to flute music, I think of Krishna now.
Yeah.
How
And by
he
the way,
used to play.
right. And by the way, the sound of the flute that you hear in this mundane world is different from the sound of flute that you will hear from Krishna. This is the closest that we can come in this
That's
replication.
true. That's true.
All right, good. So now how about we do, because in the interest of time, because I have to leave at 7 to go to the other class. Interest of time, 12.9.
Yes, Mother.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, Vashana Mataji.
Oh, thank you so much, Mother. Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai stiram abhyasa yogena tato mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
You want to go ahead, Suleka Mataji?
Sulekha is joining us?
No, I'm sorry, Aruni Mataji.
Isn't it your turn? Who's turn is it?
Synonymous. Can do.
Oh, they are just being super good to you.
Too good to
Oh,
you.
okay.
Take it.
All right, I'll take it. Atha, if therefore, chittam, mind, samadhatum, to fix, na, not, saknoshi, you are able, mai, upon me, stiram, steadily, abhyasa yogena, by the practice of devotional service, tataha, then, mam, me, icha, desire, aptum, to get, dhanamjaya, or winner of wealth, Arjuna.
Mataji, can you scroll it a little bit, Mataji?
Yeah.
Translation. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Hare Krishna. Vashana Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mother. In this verse, two different processes of Bhakti Yoga are indicated. The first applies to one who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love. And the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person by transcendental love. For this second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment to Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, Aruni Mataji.
Bhakti Yoga is the purification of the senses. At the present moment in material existence, the senses are always impure, being engaged in sense gratification. But by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, these senses can become purified, and in the purified state, they come directly in contact with the Supreme Lord. In this material existence, I may be engaged in some service to my master, but I don't really lovingly serve my master. I simply serve to get some money. And the master also is not in love. He takes service from me and pays me. So there is no question of love. But for spiritual life, one must be elevated to the pure stage of love. That stage of love can be achieved by practice of devotional service performed with the present senses. Vindhyavali Mataji.
Hare Krishna. This love of God is now in a doormat state in everyone's heart, and their love of God is manifested in different ways, but it is contaminated by material association. Now the heart has to be purified for the material association, and the dormant natural love for Krishna has to be revived. That is the whole process. Prashana Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. To practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, one should should, under the guidance of expert spiritual master, follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning, take bath, enter the temple and offer prayers and chant Hare Krishna, then collect flowers to offer to the deity, cook foodstuffs to offer to the deity, take prasadam, and so on. There are various rules and regulations which one should follow. And one should constantly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotee. This practice can help anyone rise to the level of love of God, and then he is assured of his progress into the spiritual kingdom of God. This practice of Bhakti Yoga under the rules and regulations, which is with the direction of the spiritual master, will surely bring one to the stage of God. Hare Krishna,
Stage
Mataji.
of love of God.
Love
Okay.
of God.
The love of God, stage of love of God.
Fantastic. Okay. So let's take reflections.
Mataji, actually, I thought of asking you this about this text only, this one. And what is that Krishna says, you do bhakti yoga like that. And so what should I do? So in this purport, they say what should we do in bhakti yoga? So wake up in the morning and take shower and then do the prayers and everything. So I think, can you elaborate a little
Sure.
bit, Mataji?
Yeah. So he's not generally, he's not talking, well, in a way, he's talking about Bhakti Yoga, but he's not talking that this is what Bhakti Yoga is only, right? So he has from the previous verse, and let me just start sharing the screen here with you again. From the previous verse where he talks about the highest of devotional service, right? And the highest was that Mayeva Mana Adhatsva,
Okay.
right? So he says this is also Bhakti Yoga, right? This is the highest in the Bhakti Yoga, that Mayeva Mana Adhatsva, Mai Buddhim Niveshara. You put your mind on me, you put your intelligence in me, and this way you will always live in me. And we were talking that day about, like, where do you live? You live where your mind is. That is why we say, come back, right? Come back to the class.
Yeah.
Varshana Mataji,
That's
where are you? Come back, like that, because her mind is somewhere else, right? Like that. So this is the highest of the devotional of Bhakti Yoga that he's talking about. And then in the next verse that we are looking at, he's saying that if you're not able to do that, I'm not able to think about Krishna all the time. So then he's saying, okay, if you can't do that, then let's do some practice. Okay. So you can't think about me all the time. How about you think about me 3 times a day? You make a thali, arti thal, and you have to put this and you have to put that. You have to sit in front of me and you have to, worship me through practice. And then he says, Maam ichhaptam dhananjaya. So when you do this practice, he's just saying, in this way, you will develop a desire to attain me. By the practice, by doing this, and the moment you have a desire to attain him, now let us pause here for a little while and see that when you are chanting, my mind goes somewhere else, right? Let's list down and see what are the places the mind goes, right? Like I have joined a job, so I think about a lot of things that are pending that I have to do. So why am I thinking about those things? Because the desire to finish those things is in my mind. And that desire to finish those things is much higher than the desire to think about Krishna. It's very, very simple. So if I have a desire, desires will lead to attachment. So in other words, our mind will go to a place where we are attached. So a person, why does a person think about pending things in the job? Because they want the things to be finished. Maybe because the boss will say very good, or they are scared that the boss might say very bad if you have not done it. So either ways, it's about me. It's all about me. There's no Krishna involved there, unless you are doing that work to make some money to give to Krishna, which will come in the next verse. But for now, he's just saying that you practice, and once you practice this, what's going to happen to that process of deity worship? He's saying you will develop a desire to think of me. So once you develop a desire to attain him, sorry, not think of me, to attain him, once you develop a desire that I want Krishna, what will you be thinking about? You'll be thinking about ways how can get this, how can I do that? Let me do this. Then it takes you back to the higher stage, right?
Yes.
Up to the not back, it takes you up to the higher stage. So if you are not able to do this higher one, come here, do this, and then you will get elevated. You'll go this way, like that. So that's what this verse is talking about.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Yeah. So here also, and then so if you look at the face of it, then this is what he's saying, right? Then Prabhupada is saying that in this verse, two different processes of Bhakti Yoga are indicated. The first applies to one who has actually developed an attachment of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love. And the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Lord. If you have developed an attachment to Supreme Lord, then you will do deity worship spontaneously.
Yeah.
That's known as spontaneous devotional service. But
Yes.
the other one is Vaidihi, under the rules and regulations, right? You have to do this, you have to take a shower, you have to maintain cleanliness. But then you see, so when you're maintaining cleanliness, you also maintain discretion and distinction between if you're using a mug, then you'll use one mug in the toilet, you'll use a different mug to brush your teeth, you'll use maybe a different mug to take a shower and things like that. But what about the sannyasis? They only have a kamandalu.
Yeah.
Right? So you see, at different stages in life, there are different rules and regulations that you are following. And as you elevate and go higher at a higher level, it doesn't matter what it is.
Mataji, in this aspect, and I have a question. Can I ask Mataji?
Yes, and yeah, you go ahead, Vindhyavali, and then Varshana Mataji.
Yeah, see, this worshipping, for ladies in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Is that monthly that we have that thing. So can they go to the deities and worship? Is there any?
Well, ISKCON has got certain rules about deity worship, about a temple especially. Temple, the rules, Krishna lives like a king, the temple rules are very, very strict. Very, very strict. So you have to be completely clean to be able to go on the altar. And that, and the head priest is going to tell you usually, you have to stay away 3 days and then you can go, right? In the home, if you are the only one who is doing it, there's nobody who supports you in doing that, right? So sometimes you are stuck in that situation. The home rules a little bit more relaxed, like that.
But actually, as far as our Indian culture, it says, those timings, don't go to the god and do anything, touch or anything, prasadam making.
Right. I mean, Indian culture also says that when you are, when there's a death in the family, don't do anything. Don't go to Krishna. It's not right. So there are certain things that you have to pick from the culture and certain things that you have to adjust from the culture. And because of the cultural momentum, if these things bother you a lot, then don't do it.
No, but my question is, and I heard that in the temple, and if nobody is there, temple also, if nobody is there,
what can you do?
You have to go and do cooking.
Yes,
and
be practical. You have to be practical. So that's what I'm saying, that it depends on your relationship with Krishna. See, if your relationship with Krishna is of awe and wonderment, where you're thinking that the two things, awe and wonderment means two things. And Varshana, I might have to take your question tomorrow. Awe and wonderment means two things. One, awe and wonderment is Krishna doesn't need my food.
That's true.
Right? That is awe and wonderment. And the second awe and wonderment is that he's going to punish me for being dirty and then touching him. So awe and wonderment can come from two different directions. On the other hand, the love will it's just like how the gopis of Vrindavan took the dust from their feet and gave it to Buddha. So there are levels of devotional service.
Thank you.
This is only for the altar. It's not going to the temple itself, right?
Yeah. Altar is a special place, yeah.
Altar is a special place. But if nobody is there, they say we can do it.
You can, yeah, absolutely. Because they're saying that he's king, how can he stay hungry? Like that.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Yeah. Welcome. Yeah. Varshana, is it a quick one that you wanted to say?
Mataji, I just wanted to know that even at home, Mataji, like you see, now the body gets tired very soon. In the morning after chanting, when I go to my mandir in the house and doing, sometimes it is 9:30, 10 o'clock. Or if I have a class in the morning, sometimes it goes up to, I mean, finishing thing, it goes up to 10:30, 11 also. Is it okay, Mataji?
What do you think? If your mom said that, stay hungry till 11 o'clock. So what you can do is you can be practical. You can take a glass. Patra
Fruit,
pushpam phalam toyam, right? And
fruit or something.
among the fruits also, dry fruits are the best because you don't have to
Oh,
wash them, you don't have to
Okay.
cut them. They are high in energy, they are good for
Okay.
health. Take a glass of water and put some dry fruits,
so
right?
that's why the people put
Then,
nuts and
then,
fruits. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes.
Mataji, then there is no need to, I mean, wash the deities. Like you say, I give, I clean with the wet and the dry napkin for the Lord and clean all the pictures. So that can be done later also.
You can adjust it. Yeah. Yeah. Adjust it or
Okay.
give up some
Okay.
class. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good,
Yeah.
Mataji. That's good. And another thing, Mataji, sorry, I mean, it's not very nice to ask. If you're recording, please stop the recording. I
Okay,
don't
I'm going to
mind.
stop the recording. And maybe it's time that I should also switch off on the Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us, joining the call on Facebook here. We're going to meet again tomorrow. And for those of you who watch me today on Facebook, tomorrow we're going to use a different number for joining the Facebook because I'm teaching the Modesto congregation tomorrow. So I will
Okay.
post the new number on the WhatsApp group that we have. Okay,
Okay.
I'll do
Okay.
that. Okay, so I'm going to stop the
Mm.
live stream here. And you know what? Was I even recording? I think I forgot to record the call today.
Oh.
Okay. So, no, it says pause record.